Good day to you. I hope everyone's keeping well. It's been quite a while since I've attempted to make a bit of a YouTube video. I had been making quite a lot on the XJS. The happy truth is that I've had to increase the insurance mileage on the car. Had's maybe lifting a lot of weight there. The car has been nowhere near as unreliable as I thought it was going to be. I initially insured the car for 2,000 miles per year, and I've used all that up. I've increased it to 5,000, and that's cost me an extra £60, something like that. So that's good. I'm not really a great believer in taking things apart and fixing them when they're not broken. My track record of fixing things which are broken is not great anyway. So instead, my wife and I have set ourselves a little bit of a target. We usually miss those, and I definitely don't do New Year's resolutions because I think they are a silly idea. We have over there a Mazda MX-5. Now the Mazda MX-5 requires quite a lot of work. We do have all the panels for it. The alternator has seized up, and the auxiliary belt has died as a result of that. It didn't fail its MOT, which in the UK is the Ministry of Transport's test for road safety. But equally, it's expired. I didn't present it because I thought we would take it off the road and quickly fix it. That hasn't worked out. I parked it there, disconnected the battery, and left it. Let's go and have a look at that car. This is a Mark II.5 NB body MX-5 euphonic, which means that it comes with the Torsen limited slip differential used in the 1.8i Sport, and it has two-tone leather seats and a better Panasonic stereo system. That's pretty much it. This car was bought for not a lot of money at all from Glasgow on a whim one day when my old X-Type didn't start. The car has been reliable up until the point where the alternator seized, but equally, like most MX-5s, the bodywork is not in the best of condition. The car had some dodgy work done before I got it. It had a bit of a blowover spray job. When I got the car, let's say it wasn't an awful lot of money, but nevertheless, I did do quite an extensive magnet test, and it passed. But then later I found a bit of a crack in the floor before an MOT, which I thought I'd weld up, and as I started to buff away the paint, there was unfortunately some of that awful aluminium mesh that you can buy from Ruin It Yourself car places, and that had been stuffed with body filler. So the long and the short of it is that the car is basically solid. It's had the sills replaced before, but it's going to need new rear wings and new front wings on both sides. The paint isn't great, and I would like to renew that generally, but my wife loves this car and we want to do a proper job on it. The short-term goal we're going to have a look at now. I'm in an MG Midget. This is a 1972, although the build date says it might be a late 71, but it was registered 72. 1275cc round wheel arch. Nice car. I had absolutely no intention of buying this car. It belonged to someone that my wife knew, and she had a messy divorce, and this car was surplus to require. I think it was bought by the couple as a last-ditch attempt to save a marriage that was, circling the pan. And well, there was no history. The car had failed its MOT on a couple of rust spots, and they just needed to dispose of it. So I picked this up for next to nothing. I think it was about £900 or something like that at the time, which was probably about half the going rate for cars without an MOT at the time, particularly a round arch. These the American market doesn't like them. They perceive that the square arch ones take rear end impacts much better, but the round arch is, I think most people agree, prettier. And If you expect to crash a lot, probably classic cars aren't for you. If you expect to cause a lot of collisions or just generally seem to find people running into you, it's probably a big Volvo that you want to crash in. So, what happened here then? Let's have a look around. Right, the first thing that you'll see is the car is not particularly intact. There's a reason for that. There's a 1275 engine. It was more complete when we got the car. The bonnet's lying over there, the seats are there, the radiator's on the floor. Those are the old carpets. We have a complete new set. There's the grille, there's a bunch of parts, beauty rings. We've got the old row style wheels. Here's the new carpet set. Pair of SU carburetors. You can see these classics tend to get away from you. Have a look inside though. So what the car failed its MOT on was a rust patch on each bottom corner, both sides. That was it. So I got the car thinking, no problem at all. The floors actually are really good. They, I think, have been replaced. The sills have been replaced. When I stripped out the interior to weld this, these big box sections that run up over the rear axle into the boot, or the trunk if you come from the wrong side of the Atlantic, they had rotted through along the leading edge on both. So I've welded them up. This is all done. And that was good to go. And we thought we were just about there. There was another issue as well. The fuel pump had packed in. That's not uncommon on the SU fuel pumps on these. And I think that was about it. I found an old video of myself starting the thing up. We got the engine running. There was no real problem with that. And I drove it up and down the driveway. At the time, this would have been about 2012, I think, when I got this car. So we probably had this car 9-10 years, something like that. I drove the car up and down in the driveway. At the time, you still had to have an MOT on a classic car. The law has changed in the UK since then. Over a certain age, I think it's 40 years. You don't have to have an MOT on the car. I think the government thinking is that the people that are running cars like this tend to have a reasonable idea of what they're doing. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But we were approaching the point to get the car tested, put it back on the road, and out the back it started making its own weather, smoking really, really badly. We took the rocker cover off, and I think I removed the cylinder head at the time as well, and the valve stem seals were completely shot, and the valves rattled in the guides. I did a compression test. This car's done 86,000 miles, which is quite a lot for a BMC A-Series, but at the time I thought, let's just get the head sorted out. So I stripped the head down. I'll put in some pictures just now in the video because I found some on an old Photo Bucket account. New fork, there's no play, all the usual midget things like play in the top of the pedal box and everything, nothing. It was all fine. So I took the engine out, dismantled things, checked it all, put it all back together very carefully, and there was still no clutch, and I was starting to get quite disheartened at this point. And it was at that point somebody told me I must have fitted the drive plate backwards. I was certain that I didn't, but I left it for years and years and years. And then late last year, I've taken the engine out again. This is a brand new clutch. That's gone in there. The pressure plate is definitely 100% the correct way around. It was the right way around for the first time as well. It wasn't wrong. This time though, it's had, I think it's had 3 new clutch master cylinders. It's had 1 new brake master cylinder because the seals went and all the fluid dropped into the footwell. 3 master cylinders because I kept getting different information about which was the correct bore and stroke. This time, I'm not messing around. There is a new slave. Definitely the correct part. There is a new rubber, just in case that was swelling and losing the movement. That is a new part. There's a new copper tube. That didn't really need to be replaced, but the the end of it broke off, so it did. There is nothing on this clutch which is not brand spanking new. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to set it on fire. Let's step back. Why is the front wing off? Well, there's a story. You see, last time we had the car almost working, I decided I was going to drive it around my my sort of general garden. I've got a turning circle just here, and then there's a fairly long driveway and a big bit of grass. And I'd been driving around and round. I foolishly let someone else drive it. He's a good friend of mine, but he's got a reputation for not being the best with machinery, really, to be fair, in retrospect. But I let him drive it. We gave him a bit of a push to get him moving. He slipped into first because it wouldn't declutch, and he drove up the driveway, did a loop round on the grass, came back round, and I thought he was going to go round the turning circle, but instead he drove into the garage, tried to brake, but I think this is the first car he'd driven without boosted brakes. He tried to pull out a gear, but pulled up instead of backwards, and the wooden gear knob came off, and I was standing outside. It sounded like an Acme cartoon. There was sort of crashing and banging like pots and pans, and he hit the wooden table over there. It broke the headlight and dented the wing. So I had to take the wing off. The wing, as you'll see, has been painted green at some point, but it was primrose yellow before that. Now that's interesting because this car has been painted red by someone in the past, and the car used to be primrose yellow, but I'm fairly certain that the wing has been replaced before. Anyway, I've got a wing to finish panel beating into shape. It's nearly there. I just need to finish stripping it and get some primer on, see what I've really got. I've got a little bit of a dent to knock out here. It's almost out. I've been bashing away with that with a piece of wood and a mallet earlier. It's close enough that I think I can probably just skim that with filler. I've always liked the look of midgets without the front bumper, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to stick with that or not. If I take the front off, I have to do the back as well. The good thing about the round arch midget, when people with rubber bumper midgets take the back bumper off, they have to weld on the bottom part that goes under the tail lights. This car's already got it, so I could just unbolt and it looks nice. But I'm unlucky and people keep crashing into my stuff as well, so I don't know whether to do that. Let me know your thoughts. I think it looks quite clean without them. Having just taken the chrome bumper off this morning to finish fixing this, it's surprisingly heavy. But yeah, there we are. I've got new headlights. Everything's ready to go back together. There should be, in theory, nothing stopping me from driving this car this summer, except me and my chronic laziness.